In addition to staying mindful while eating and mindful of how your body feels when you eat certain foods, you can also stay mindful of your emotions and emotional responses to eating. It's important not to label emotional eating as bad, because whenever we label something as bad, we want to do it more. What are different types of emotions that might lead people to eat when they aren't physiologically hungry? For some of us, the experience of eating makes us feel better. It might reduce anxiety, make us happy when we're sad, or simply fill a void of loneliness or boredom. Often, the emotions are very complicated. You may start eating because you're bored, but then continue eating because the food is helping you cope with a certain emotion. Food is just one of many coping tools that are used to deal with emotions. It must really work on some level, or else people wouldn't do it. If we say to ourselves, oh, I really shouldn't be emotionally eating right now, it's bad for my body, then we simply add another emotion to the mix, guilt, and maybe even shame. So telling yourself that emotional eating is bad doesn't really help the situation. Instead of trying to get rid of emotional eating as a coping tool, try to build an arsenal of coping tools so that you have many ways to soothe yourself when you're feeling anxious, lonely, depressed, annoyed, frustrated, etc. Some like to vent to a friend, others like to journal, meditate, go for a walk, take a nap, or watch a funny movie. Allow food to be one of those tools, and whenever you choose eating as a way of coping, try to remain mindful during the eating experience. Notice how the food is making you feel. Now, we typically eat differently when we are eating to satisfy a craving versus eating to fill an emotional void. What have you noticed in yourself? Or what do these images suggest? When we are eating to satisfy a craving, we slow down and appreciate the food. When we eat due to emotions or when we feel guilty about eating, we tend to scarf the food down quickly to make those feelings go away. Again, this is simply about noticing in a non judgmental, compassionate manner with curiosity and mindfulness. If this all sounds too good to be true, it's important to review the research that supports this style of eating. Different researchers have found that those who give themselves full permission to eat the foods they enjoy are less likely to overeat, including binge eating behaviors. They also experience less guilt with eating. Also, individuals who rely more on hunger and fullness cues or internal cues instead of external cues to guide eating have a more positive self esteem and have a better body image. In addition, Hawks and colleagues found that intuitive eaters actually have better cholesterol, higher levels of good HDL cholesterol, and lower triglycerides, lower levels of fat in the blood. While intuitive eating isn't about trying to manage weight, it is interesting to note that intuitive eaters tend to have lower body mass index, lower body weight for their height, compared to unintuitive eaters, and a lower overall cardiovascular risk as well. Now that we've discussed the first principle of the HAES paradigm, let's move on to the second, which is to find joy in activity.